Basically, we founded FloridaIndependentVoting.org as an affiliate of the New York organization. Their goals and objectives are primarily to get congressional hearings to open up all states to have open primaries, meaning if you're an independent, you can vote in any primary. Right now, there are about 19 states that are closed to independents, meaning whenever there's a primary with Republicans and Democrats, we can't vote. And my background is I'm a Vietnam combat veteran, saw a lot of good people die, and after that, I didn't really want to register or vote in this country. I was really not happy with my government. So about 28 years ago, we moved from upstate New York down here. And I think what teed me off and got me active again was when I saw the way they treated John Kerry when he was running for president. John Kerry was a veteran that got the Silver Star, rode on swift boats. I also rode on swift boats, and I was a CIA Phoenix advisor. So I understood his mindset and where he came from. And then they made George Bush look like a hero flying jets over Texas, and they made Kerry look like a coward. You know, the super PACs, whatever they called them back then. So I said, this isn't right. So I went to register, and I registered as an independent. Well, in Florida, you can register as non-party affiliated, NPA, and that's what I registered as, which I think there are about 25% of us now in the state. Okay, so I was mad, and then I went to vote in a primary. I like Charlie Crist. Went to vote for him, and they said, well, you can't vote in a primary because you're an independent. And I said, wait a minute. I fought in Vietnam. I followed all the rules, and you're telling me I can't vote because the state's closed. So that's when I became active. And then I started looking for organizations, and I found independentvoting.org. And then from there, we founded this organization. Our organization is a few hundred people, activists throughout Florida. And like I say, some of them are carryover from the last couple of years. And what we decided to do was form a political action committee. FloridaIndependentVoting.org is a political action committee. We decided to go further because we tried to ping, what I call pinging, a lot of our Congress reps to see if they would write a letter to the subcommittee in Washington to hold these hearings, to open up all states for open primaries. And it wasn't very well received in Florida. Florida is a little different than some of the other states, like California, Washington, Arizona. They all have, or are going to all have, open primaries, California being the biggest. So we decided, well, let's do this the right way. So we formed a PAC, and then from the PAC we says, well, what can we do legally? So we filed for a petition to get something on the ballot in 2014. And the petition really went as far as we can go because the petition says we want the top 2 open primary in Florida, meaning like California or Washington, and now Arizona, I believe, the top 2 candidates in a primary election, regardless of party affiliation, if any, or lack thereof, the top 2 vote getters are the candidates, and they go on to the general election. That truly represents what this country is all about. It's not a constitution that says there will be Republicans and Democrats. It's equality and fair shot at everything. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to open it up so that regardless of your political affiliation, or none, you get to vote, regardless of the type of election. And that's what I believe is the right thing to do. And I keep saying it's the right place at the right time for the right reasons. And that's what we're all about.
What do you think about RNC now? Have you changed your opinion about who you are going to vote?
Yeah, I get this asked all the time. Well, you're an independent, and what do you think about the RNC? I think the RNC has got a real conundrum, and that's an engineering word we like, in that they say, well, we don't want government regulation, but they want to regulate women's rights. They want to regulate the states, they want to let the states regulate Medicare. We have an example of that with our governor, Rick Scott, who ran a healthcare company, who does not want to accept responsibility for that healthcare company bilking Medicare out of billions of dollars. But he's willing to pass the blame on the President Obama for not getting the economy straightened out, or Obamacare. So I really don't have much sympathy for a lot of the Republican platform because I feel it's outdated. I really feel that the Republican platform is outdated, not in touch with reality. And I can go further, but then I become kind of a zealot, because with my background, I look at my background and my past and where I'm at, and I say, you know, a lot of this problem started around the early 1900s when you had the really, really wealthy. You know, I'm talking about Morgan, Fords, these type of people, the oils. These type of people really set up the system to their advantage, including the Federal Reserve, which I don't think anybody really understands. And then they manipulate things to their advantage, whether it be financial crisis, maybe even wars, and maybe even something like an assassination. So I go into it a little deeper because of my military background. But I don't trust the one percenters. I don't want the wealthy really running this country like they have. And I look at Mitt Romney as somebody that has $200 million of wealth. He comes from a very wealthy family, very well-to-do background. He really cannot relate, as far as I'm concerned, with somebody that's trying to make a living, wondering where their next meal's going to come from, or if their house is going to get foreclosed on. So I don't have much sympathy for the Republican Party. I got a little more sympathy for the Democrats, but they tend to go the other extreme. So there's got to be a happy medium. And I think if I have to vote for one of them, I'm not voting Republican.
Do you like Chris Christie?
Yes, I do. And I gave him accolades for saying, I'm an independent because you guys wanted Mark Rubio as your future president. That was just blatant. That was just blatant. Because when I looked at Charlie, I always thought that he worked from his gut. Whether it's women's rights or equal rights or gay rights, he always seemed to come back to his gut feeling. And I think that's the way independents operate, a true independent. They operate on their guts. But unfortunately, they got to look at all this partisanship. And what do we have? Billions of dollars for the Republicans and billions of dollars for the Democrats. One's blaming the other, but Congress can't do anything, and the Senate ain't going to do anything. So you kind of got a sad situation which needs to be changed. Hopefully in November some of it will change, either in Congress or the Senate or the President. But I'm kind of hoping we don't get Mitt Romney.
Do you think that many other people, being independent, has taken decision already?
Well, it's kind of funny because if I send out updates every week to a couple hundred people. And if I send something out, every once in a while I'll get a zing, a ping back, I call it. And the last one I sent out was about Charlie Crist. I said, gee, Charlie, he decided to support the Democrats. And I got one right back. Well, that's not a surprise. He's a flip-flopper. And so I'm sitting here I'm thinking to myself, well, I guess I'm a flip-flopper. I guess all independents are flip-floppers because we don't really vote on party lines. We vote what our gut tells us. We vote, and I gave this little spiel in a national teleconference we had last week throughout the country. And I says, I'm an independent because I looked at my past, and you just heard where I came from. You know where I'm at. I live in a nice house, and where I want to go is equality. I'm tired of hearing about the women right thing, abortion thing, religion thing, gay rights thing. It's all got to be equal or nothing. That's where I'm at. Let women decide. Let gay rights decide. You know, it's up to them, their choice, not some government saying what is right or wrong. So to get back into it, Charlie Crist was where I started pinging a little bit, and I'm starting to feel that, yeah, there still are some diehard Republicans in the group. There's still some diehard Democrats, but I think the general consensus is going to be they're reacting on their gut, and it's probably not going to happen until after they watch the debates